Looks like these mulberry harbors were to
It was the British had, I think. No, I guess it's split because the U.S. was at Utah and Omaha, and the British were at Gold and Juneau, and the Canadians, I guess, was Sword.
So I guess these are to stop the waves and stuff to make it easier to offload equipment. These mulberry harbors,
Yeah.
they're basically breakwaters. It says this first one was largely destroyed at the 19th to the 21st of June. Mulberry A.
In a storm, yeah.
What a logistics triumph. What a logistics triumph.
Yeah. Yeah. The whole thing. The deception was fantastic with it had the Germans thinking it's going to be someplace else.
Yeah. Yeah, and evidently Eisenhower could, change production plans in the States.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, I think as I read it or listened to it on that book, the initial plan was for 3 divisions, and it was 3 divisions because they didn't have enough landing craft. And when they showed the plan to the bigwigs, they changed it to 5 divisions, and Eisenhower said, produce more landing craft. And they produced more landing craft. So, I mean, you had like this wartime economy, and they thought they needed X number of these and X number of those, and somebody had to say, stop making some of that and make more of this.
We went to the War Museum,
Sure, yeah.
the Higgins. That was the guy that made the boat.
Yeah.
And he made some money. Of course, he had a pretty good boat.
Yeah.
They're still finding them. They said they drained, well, I forgot where it was now, but they found a damn Higgins boat in the bottom with a original paint job and everything on it.
Wow.
Just recently. And they didn't know how it got there or when or...
Yeah, it kind of throws me when I hear the production numbers, how quickly they ramped up. And that's the part that worries me now, is that we don't have the machine tool industry in the United States to ramp up production like that. And it's like they're seeing that now with this problem in Ukraine, right? So they're shipping munitions over, but there's one factory that builds whatever, and you're like, well, why? Well, only because we only need this many shells a month, because that's the production, and that's the order that was put in place, and to make things efficient, there's only one factory. And you're like, you never want one factory. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to have one factory. Until you're at budget time and you're somebody's saying, no, I guess, yeah, let's cut costs best we can. We have other priorities. But you say it only took them a year, but they've been ramping up the economy to produce all this stuff since 41.
Yeah.
Actually, since before that, because they were selling arms to other countries. But they didn't really ramp up, until after December 7th. But before that, they were producing
Well, yeah,
trucks and all kinds of things.
they wrapped up for Germany, and for England,
Yeah,
and yeah.
but not like they did after December 7th, I think. But
They realized they needed more ships, and they got into the Liberty ships and make them out of aluminum or whatever the hell it was.
yeah, they built ships in Wilmington, North Carolina.
Uh,
Yeah, down at the coast of North Carolina, they had a shipyard just for World War II.
yeah. I think that's where they came out with the Liberty ships in Oregon or someplace.
Mm.
In the
I know they were
Columbia
building them down in at the Kaiser
Yeah,
shipyard.
yeah. In
California.
Oregon, I think they were.
Oh, were they?
Yeah.
I was thinking they were in California somewhere, like San Francisco area. Back Bay. maybe?
I thought they were in Oregon.
It doesn't matter. But they just ramped up.
That Liberty, they call it the Liberty ship.
Make them cheap,
Oh,
make them quick.
yeah.
But I guess what I was saying is when you look at the numbers that were produced of like airplanes and trucks and just all that stuff, and it's all gone. I mean, there's like one example or a few examples of B-17s, and they built tens of thousands of them. And the old fighters,
A lot of different people were building the B-17.
yeah,
The first B-29 was being built in Seattle during the war. And they took off. The first one crashed right at the end of the runway into the Fry Pelican pit.
oh wow,
I think that slowed them up a little bit.
yeah, I would think, yeah. I remember reading there were factories in the Midwest, around where those bomber bases are now. I'm trying to think of where it was.
Well, the Ford plant was producing Martins, I think the Martin bomber, the big bomb B-24, something like that. Heavy bomber. And he said, I was surprised. They built more of them than the B-17s.
Isn't that amazing? Yeah. Yeah. And you
I
see
was
pictures
talking
of
to a
rows,
guy.
rows and rows and rows and rows of them, and then there's just 2 or 3 left.
This one guy was a B-24 pilot.
Mm-hmm.
And the other guys were B-17 pilots. And he said B-17 was more popular for some reason. I mean, it got more publicity. But there was more B-24s than there was B-17s. So they hauled more. But the pilots, he says, it was like driving a damned old cement truck.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just heavy and hard.
Yeah.
You had to keep on to it, all of it. Every minute you had to keep that thing in the air. But you never heard much about the B-24.
That's true.
I was surprised when I read that they had produced more B-24s than they did anything else.
That's pretty wild, isn't it?